Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Krail Sheffelgunathorpia Sharp, but you can just call me Chef. Today, I'm going to be concluding test week by showing you a game called Ruinarch. Now, unlike Apex, which I streamed yesterday, this game isn't nearly as popular, but I discovered it back in November and found that I enjoy it greatly. To put it simply, this game is about playing as a demonic lord from presumably some form of underworld, and you are attempting to spread your influence onto the surface by converting or eradicating villagers that lie in your way. Now, at the moment, the game is still being developed, but the developers have created a roadmap of sorts that shows what they expect the progress to be, and I have taken the liberty of having a screenshot of that available to show you. Now, as you can see, they've been having these updates since October, and the most recent one was a change to the maps. Previously, the maps that I will show you in a minute for the game worked by having different sections. Each section would generally correspond to a certain type of biome, such as a desert, forest, or just grasslands, and you would have to move between these by scrolling to the edge of a region and then clicking an arrow to move to the next region, or by going to the world map and selecting from there. But they changed that back in January so that you can access the entire map without having to switch between the different sections, which helps with navigation a lot. And as you can see, they're also planning to update how player progression works, which will obviously change a lot of how the game works. But for now, we're going to be playing it with the current lack of player progression. You get everything. All of your capabilities are given to you right at the beginning for the moment. Now, I have played this game before, so I do have some experience with this. But for today, I'm going to start from one of the early scenarios. I won't do the tutorial for this game at least, but I'm going to play in the first scenario, which is Una, a single desert region with a burgeoning human town. Unknown to these residents, the surrounding caves are filled with danger. There is a strange artifact of unknown origin somewhere nearby. Is it connected to the dozens of various crystals scattered around the place? And then I've already unlocked all of the scenarios, but if I were playing this for the first time, completing this would allow me to unlock these two scenarios, and as well as the custom, which allows you to create a game based on your own desires. But for now, we shall do Una. Now you'll see going in that there will be a preset map that will have, in this scenario, a singular human village. And I will have the ability to decide where I will set up a demonic portal from which will serve as the HQ for my operations. And then I will have other buildings that I may construct. I will have minions that will perform tasks for me depending on who they are. And then I will also have, as you will see in a moment, I think I'll set my portal here. So yes, we also have spells. So we have spells, which can have various effects. We have afflictions, which are different malices that I can apply to villagers. I have my minions, all of which are demons. And then I have structures. Now, all of these things... Oh yes, and we also have miscellaneous, which are various non-spell capabilities that I might have. Now, you'll see at the bottom there are 3 circles. Each one corresponds to a certain archetype of demonic overlord. We have the puppet master, who focuses on manipulating others in order to cause chaos without having to actually do the work themselves. And this is mainly done via these 2 buildings, which the puppet master has by default. The eye is a structure that allows you to see everything that is going on within the region that the building is placed. This allows you to learn information about what is happening to villagers and others with a large degree of, well, with more detail than you would otherwise get. And then this intel that you can get from this can be used in various ways. Now, the Meddler is one of the more recently added structures to the game, and this allows you to manipulate the villagers in more detail. For you see, you can blackmail villagers using intel, using the Meddler, and this will allow you to get them to perform actions that work in your favor by using the blackmail against them. Now, there are other things that you can do to help ensure that they will do as you say, but the more material you have, the more likely they are to agree. And if they do agree to perform the action, then the intel that you use will be lost. Now, as the Puppet Master, I usually also like to have the Defiler. Now, this structure, simply put, allows you to put villagers inside, and then when you activate the Defiler, this can potentially turn them into cultists. Now, the success chance of this is normally very low, but can be raised to performing various actions. Cultists are notable in that they will actively attempt to spread worship of you, as they are, of course, their cult is revolving around you. And if you attempt to command them using the Meddler, they usually will agree to do whatever task you ask them to do so, which is why it combos very well. And then at the bottom you see right here we have the kennel. This allows the player to capture wild monsters that may be present in the map, and then once you have done so, they will be corrupted and you'll be able to spawn these monsters in most areas of the map depending on what type of monster it is, and they will follow certain behaviors. Some may actively attack villages, some may defend the location where they are spawned, and some may simply just try to procreate and create as many of themselves as possible. Now, for this map, I think I will be playing as the Puppet Master, but actually no, I think I'll go through the other two, and you'll see I'm going to pick the last one for this first map. Now we have the Lich, who, befitting his name, uses necromancy to terrorize the living. He has many more spells, as you can see, to start with, including a choice between 3 spells, and there's a decent range of spells that you can pick. Then there's Afflictions. Fewer Afflictions, but notably there are a couple that are unique to the Lich, which are Plague and Lycanthropy. Lycanthropy, of course, turning someone into a werewolf, and then Plague, which we'll get to in a minute, will afflict a player with, well, the Plague. Then you have the minions, slightly different, but more or less the same. And now the structures. Now the Lich starts with a prison. This allows you to capture villagers and then activate the torture action, which will apply a random malice to them, similar to if you were to inflict them with one of these afflictions. And then we have the Biolab, which is the most important structure for the Lich, as it allows them to create and customize the plague using plague points, which are gained through the infection of villagers and by certain actions depending on the nature of the plague that you created. Now you'll see I also have the Defiler in my loadout for this because it works well with the prison, because it helps create malices that make it easier to turn a villager into a cultist. And then I also have the kettle, but sometimes I may also pick the eye instead, depending on how I feel. And then finally, Miscellaneous. Somewhat similar, but notably they do have the Raise Dead option, which allows you to spawn skeletons from the bodies of slain villagers. Now finally, we have the Ravager. This one is easily the most straightforward of the 3 options. They have a significant number of spells. As you can see, I haven't really used this one, which is why these spells haven't been assigned. But we'll simply just do this. This should be more than suitable. And then Afflictions. as you can see, they start with the least, or rather the smallest number of afflictions to start. That should be fun. Minions, as you can see, they have the most minions. In fact, I believe they may have all of the demons that are available as minions. And then structures, they start with the kennel and the eye, so they have the ability to get monsters right off the bat, and then the eye to view on others. Now for this, I think you also notice that they do not have the Defiler as a structure option, which means that you cannot create cultists as the Ravager. But that's okay, this will be a simple scenario that we'll be starting with. So I think I'll create the Biolab, and then the prison. I don't expect to use those particularly much for this. And then let's see, Miscellaneous, Ignite, Seize Monster, Destroy, Agitate. Now which of these should I use? I think I'll choose Seize Villager just in case. Yes, that should be more than enough. And then as you can see right now, there is a more loadout options, which allows you to use, which freely allows you to pick any abilities regardless of the archetype. But I prefer to try and stay within the theming. So we'll be going with the Ravager. Now to start, the game will start out paused so we can freely observe the map. Now as you can see here, these characters appear to have names. Or rather, these monsters appear to have names. And that is because these are all, in fact, actually werewolves. And not just normal wolves. So these all will turn into people under certain conditions, I believe. Or they may just stay as wolves the entire time. Oh no, I'm sorry. I forgot. They recently allowed you the ability to have monsters be named. So these are all named creatures. So we have wolves here. We have fire elementals here, which have the arsonist breed behavior, so they'll burn down villages and other structures nearby if you manage to capture and use them. We have a newer creature, which are these giant scorpions that function as invaders, so they will attack the nearest village. We have more wolves here, and then we have lesser demons here who are demooters. If you spawn these on the field, they will apply a temporary debuff and then immediately disappear afterwards. We also have trolls, which are abductors, so they will attempt to capture villagers and return them to their home, which in the case of these trolls would be this tower. We have more wolves here. And then we have a dragon here, I believe that's it. Now, the dragon is unique to this map, and is naturally hibernating, so it is inactive and will not do anything. It also cannot be taken to be put in the kennel because it is far too powerful to do so, and as you can see, I do not have an option here, whereas if I were to go to these wolves, you can see that I have options to seize the monster to put it into the kennel, or to agitate it so that it will start to attack nearby villagers. We also have some pigs here, but you know, pigs aren't terribly interesting. And then we have the villagers themselves. Now at the top you'll see we have several tabs. We have tabs for my spells, for the demons I can summon, for monsters, though to start with we do not have any as I need to capture and breed the monsters in order to have some to summon. Intel, which I do not currently have since the game is not actually started yet. We have a tab for the villagers, which will indicate any existing factions apart from my own. And then note what race they may be, or rather what faction type they are. So Meddler is a human empire with 12 people in it, I believe, yes. And then you can see down here, we have this crown here to indicate that this character is the settlement ruler of the town of Ruinarch, and is also the faction leader of Meddler. Now if I desired, I could attempt to cut this down based on the various traits that may be present in the villagers, or may be inflicted on the villagers as the case may be. And then finally we have the build menu. This is going to change in the future, I believe, along with the player progression, but for now I can build instantaneously, so I will just immediately construct each of these buildings. Put that there. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put that there. And then finally, once that is constructed, I will put the prison here. And now as you can see on the right, our objective is simple. Eliminate all villagers, of which, as we saw before, there are 12. So, the main draw of this game is that I could very simply just attempt to create a large force of monsters and demons and just send them into the village, which I may do here just to illustrate it. But if I wanted to, I could try to be more creative about it. I could, for instance, attempt to use spells in certain combinations, which certain spells may interact with each other in certain ways. For instance, if I choose to use this Poison Cloud spell right here, and then I unpause the game, you will see that this will cause a Poison Cloud to spread, which will infect anything that it comes across, and will also scare away villagers that get too close. Now you see it also leaves behind pools of poison, which also have a certain level of volatility, as I will demonstrate now. Very fun and very burny. As you'll see, none of the villagers were actually harmed by this, but I was mostly just demonstrating, so it's fine. Don't mind the burning pig over on the left. And now the villagers must deal with the fact that their tavern has suddenly and mysteriously been set on fire. But I cannot just freely use these spells, for as you can see, there is a threat counter on the top right, and this indicates how much threat I've accumulated. And as you can see, if it reaches 100, then people will realize that there is in fact a demon in the area nearby and will attempt to resolve the situation. And depending on the circumstances, I may even see divine intervention in the form of an angelic hit squad of sorts that will attempt to destroy my portal and send me back into where I came from. But not to worry. You see, I have certain plans that I would like to put into effect. Let's see. You know what? I have not used scorpions before, so I'm going to seize the scorpion and just put it here. And then you see if I click on it again and right click, I now have the breed monster option, which has 3 charges. If I use these all, under monsters, I also now have 3 scorpions. I also have a plague rat, which is because I have the biolab. So very quickly, I will show you how the biolab works. As you can see, I have indications from the biolab of how many cases there are currently, how many deaths have been caused by it, and how many people have recovered from the plague. Also shows me how many plague rats that I can deploy, of which you'll see there are a new charge of plague rat will be accumulated every 2 days, up to a maximum of 3. And then I have plague points. I start with 35 to start, so that I may immediately customize the plague as needed. And to start, I think I will improve the method of transition. As you can see, there is a low level of consumption rate affecting the transmission, which is due to the fact that the plague rat, when released, will attempt to consume food and spread the plagues that way. So, if I increase this to medium, that will increase the chance that the food will be poisoned and that people who eat it will then end up being afflicted by the plague. Then I will go down to here. And as you can see, there are a number of things that we can do here, but I'm going to go with Monster Scent. Now this will cause anyone that is afflicted by the plague to become targeted by nearby monsters, which will help me not have to manage the monsters so much. Now, for the sake of it, I'm just going to quickly pull one of these trolls and also put them in here, just so I have them available. And then we shall begin. It is now nighttime. Everyone is going to sleep, which means that this is now the perfect time to spawn the rat. Because the rat is very weak, and if it is discovered, things will not go well for the rat. Appears to want to have a drink at the tavern. That is fine. Unfortunately, does not appear to have spread it to any food items. Oh, nope, it indeed has. As you can see, there's now an indicator that this area has been contaminated, so if anyone eats here, they will find they're suddenly coming down with a case of not good. Now, I shall begin my plan to eliminate the villagers. I will summon these 3 scorpions. And they now treat this monster lair as their home. And now they will go out and attempt to, well, they will do what giant scorpions tend to do. Why, yes, coming down with a case of not good is very, very bad, you see. Now, these scorpions seem to be homing in on someone up here. We'll see how this ends up going. And then also we seem to have one of the wolves just over here fighting. Ah, yes, I see the scorpions have started to get to work. 2 of them are chasing this man who is trying to run away for his life. And one of them has already eliminated a villager. Excellent. Very excellent. Unfortunately, the villagers are tougher than they would appear. Although some of them, as you can see, have certain jobs that would put them very, very naturally predisposed to combat. But it is fine. This is not something that is meant to immediately show results. This is something that we'll be doing over time. And as you can see, I'm actually getting mana, which I use obviously for the spells. Due to the fear and panic the scorpions are inspiring among these villagers. Now, let us see if I can... Yep, I can have 2 more scorpions ready to go. And so I will do so now. And they will also set out to attempt to invade this town. Which is good, because they just took out the other scorpion. Now I also have these demons. Now I can summon this wrath demon. And if I summon it, it will, like the scorpions, attack the town. Now we also have a gluttony demon and a sloth demon, which are both defenders. So if I plant them here, they will wander around this area and attack anyone that gets too close. We then also have the pride demon, which will also attack the village, and a greed demon. And you guessed it, it will also attack the village. And we still have 1 scorpion left that is attempting to rampage. But these villagers are going to soon have much worse issues than scorpions. Possibly, who knows? Maybe these villagers turn out to be excellent demon hunters, who knows? This night unfortunately seems to be proving difficult. But as you can see, the other scorpions earlier managed to eliminate this villager. So I'm not terribly worried. So while they're all having fun over there, I'm going to take a look back over here. Because I can take this fire elemental and place them here. And the kennel, as you can see, has 3 rooms, which is a visual indicator that there is a limit of 3 monsters that I can keep in here. And now I will take one of these and also summon it here. And this one works a little differently. As you saw, it was an arsonist, so it will attempt to set fire to things in the village rather than attack the villagers directly. And Stolas over here seems to be doing the Demon Lord's work, as it were, and has already eliminated another villager, so now there's only 9 left. You know what? Scratch that. Make that 8. Lovely. Now this dragon, I admit I have never actually awoken the dragon before. I'm not actually sure how I'm supposed to do so. So I'm going to try and play around with things. See if there's some sort of ritual I can enact to waken the dragon. Although, in all honesty, I'm not sure how I would go about that. I see that you are eagerly at work, burning things down. Lovely, lovely. This tavern has really taken a beating recently. It's very sad, it's very sad. Now, as you can see, this is supposed to be a mine. So I'm going to just place a couple landmines there because that'll be fun when someone attempts to go gather materials. And my fire elemental has managed to go unnoticed, surprisingly, which is very good. That means they'll survive to return later. And although I could summon the rat demon again, I'm going to wait until all 3 of the offensive demons are ready and send them all at the same time again. And perhaps send them out with more scorpions to create a combined offensive. Sorry about that, my throat seems to be a little scratchy at the moment. Oh, boo-hoo, Ryan's crying. It appears that they're grieving over the death of someone. Probably. Who knows? I'm not gonna claim to understand these villagers and their ways. Now let us see if I can get a 3rd scorpion. Oh, in 5 seconds I will. Excellent. And then I'm going to fast forward time, because as you can see, this is the kind of game where things can get very dragged out, which if you're playing on your own can be rather fun, but if you're demonstrating a game for others, they may end up getting tired of watching someone staring at a screen for a long amount of time. So I'm going to fast forward a bit. And now everyone is going to bed. So now I can send out another plagued rat. And then while they're also asleep, I'm going to quickly pause. Summon my 3 scorpions here. 2 of them are on the same space, don't worry. And then I'm going to summon 2 demons. I wasn't paying attention, I should have probably waited a little longer, but it's fine. Because these 5 combined should be able to do a significant amount of damage. Also, Tanya's cowering for some reason. Probably because of this fire elemental that's attacking her. Oh, that's so sad. She's not there anymore. She's not there anymore. But it's fine. And now, as you can see, the demons and the scorpions have begun their assault. Now, there were 2 people here, so that scorpion's probably... Yep. Why don't we try and see about helping speed things along, huh? I'm just gonna start some electrical storms. And then we have wolves attacking the villagers as well. I'm going to also just send out this... Let's see, who else is there? Aha! I will send some poison in these directions. And then also for fun, I'm just gonna toss in a couple heat waves, which are not as noticeable, but if you zoom in, you will notice that there's the little clouds of redness to indicate the increased heat. And it looks like some of the poison was detonated by fire, most likely caused by the fire elemental. And as you can see, there are things that appear to be overheating. Yes, they're overheating. No idea what that'll do, haven't used this spell before, but I presume it will be very burny. Just like this person is right now, because they were in the area where there was a heat wave, and they now appear to be on fire. And also, their mood. As you can see, there's a mood that is affected by various things. Like, well, they're dead, so I can't really use them as an example anymore, can I? So I will use you instead. Now, as you can see, they have, just at the moment, a +6 and a +3 due to having their fun meter and I believe their energy meter relatively high. And we're already down the 2 villagers. As you can see, this game isn't particularly difficult if you are just attempting to win as quickly as possible. I probably could win even faster if I really wanted to. For instance, if I just came here, got those 3 again, then I could summon them and the demons, and that would probably be more than the 2 remaining villagers can handle. Now, if you wanted to extend the fun further, as we can see in the info panel for this village, there is a migration event. And this means that when this meter is full, the village will have an influx of new villagers that will have to also be eliminated in addition to the original ones. And as you can see, this man is not in a good mood. He has been scared by demons, he's starving, he lost Gunhild, perhaps his wife, and he has not enjoyed himself, as can be indicated by the fact that his fun is extremely low, as is his fullness. And that is why currently he is very upset, and his foul mood is actually granting me more mana, and he has gone berserk and is attacking random things. So I think, at this point, I'm going to just finish off this scenario. And yeah. Yep. 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 Yep, that was not a good day for Dudley. Not a good day indeed. Or perhaps a very good day. He was in a very bad mood to start, and if we look at Dudley, oh my gosh, look at his mood. It's actually better than before. It has improved. And then we have poor Alden here, who's fighting for his life, but I do not expect things to go particularly well for him in the end. Especially since electricity tends to stun people, which makes it very difficult to fight back against giant scorpions. And so with that, all the villagers have been wiped out, and I have won. And as you can see, Ruinarch is in fact a work in progress. It is in early access, which should have been fairly evident by the map of progress that I showed you earlier. Now I'll wait for it to load. Now let's see. So, Ikalawa, a frozen world of purebred elves blessed by nature. I must harvest the spirit of at least 10 of these undefiled creatures. There is one tainted one amongst their midst that may hold the key. Now this features a special fixed loadout, so I will have significantly less choice, but that is fine. The less choices I have to make, the sooner we can get into the game. Alright, let's see. We appear to have the main village here, and then we have what appears to be an abandoned village and perhaps some ruins here. I'm just going to place myself relatively far away, perhaps here, so that my portal is least likely to be found. And now we'll look at the loadout. Now for this custom loadout, we appear to have the spells Locust Swarm, Snare Trap, Protection, and Lightning, which all more or less do what it says on the tin. For afflictions, we solely have Psychopathy, which will turn someone into a killer, of which we may determine what type of victims they prefer. Minions, we have 4 demons. The Lust Demon, which has the demooter effect that will reduce the mood of nearby villagers and then disappear. The Envy Demon, which will cause nearby villagers to suddenly become incapable of movement. And then the Sloth Demon, which is the one that will defend an area, and the Sloth and Gluttony Demons, which both defend an area. For structures, I have the Biolab, the Kennel, and the Eye, so I can make plagues, gather up monsters, and see what's going on. And then under Miscellaneous, I can zap living things, grab monsters and objects, heal anyone I wish if I have reason to, and then I may trigger any negative traits that someone may have, either that start with or being inflicted by various means. Alright. So it does say that we have to eliminate all villagers, and you can see why they had us start with the kennel, because that village I mentioned earlier is not actually a village. It is in fact some sort of, let's see, what is this place? It is some sort of abandoned zoo of just horrible, horrible monsters. Just awful. Just so awful. Well, anyway, gonna just start planting these down. I'll place these here. I'll place this one over here because there wasn't really room over there. And there appear to be a bunch of, what are these? Oh, these are just chickens. I was hoping that those were monsters that would help defend. Oh well, that's fine. So I'm gonna grab this guy, because you can't tell immediately, but I recognize this as being an abomination, which is a very fun invader type. And then we have a lesser demon, we have an ice nymph, we have a ghost, and then we have spiders, wolves, and kobolds. I think I will also take the sludge for now, actually. And then I will begin work on the plague. I'll increase the consumption rate, and I suppose that I will also just give direct contact just to help increase the rate of the spread. And now we'll go over to the village. Now, I believe that this scenario is a little bit more unique, because if we click this, you will see that just about everyone on this list, with the possible exception of Imrenorin. I'm just gonna go back and forth here just to verify. Yep, it appears to be that first elf is the one non-blessed villager. Now this is very important, because if we are to select one of these villagers and look at info, the blessed trait means that they cannot be directly affected by my powers. So I can still use spells that may have an area of effect, but if I right click on them to use these abilities, I cannot use any of them. I cannot, in fact, I cannot affect them in any way. But this guy, fortunately, we can. So, we can just zap him if we feel like it. Poor man, I actually misclicked there, but oh well, it only cost me a little mana. Now, notably, this guy is also evil, which may be why he is the only one that is not blessed. So, we're just gonna do this. Yatta-da-da-da-da. Yatta-da-da-da-da. Excellent. Oh yes, and if I also go to the villagers thing, I will go down here and go to robust. This is also important because anyone with this trait cannot actually be afflicted by the plague, if I remember correctly. So we're just going to go over to one of these people and go to robust. Yep, immune to all sorts of illnesses, so they also cannot be affected by my plague, which is also very unfortunate. And that is the main reason why I think I have been supplied with the monsters. That will make things much, much easier. Oh yes, and then down here, we also have some ratmen. They don't serve me, they don't serve the people that the elves worship, but I guess overall I would say that they're more useful to me than the villagers since, well, as you can imagine, ratmen are not particularly liked by humans or elves. I'm going to get rid of this for now. Now, our main method, I think, of dealing with these people is to go and have our good friend Imranorin wait until it is nighttime, so I'm going to skip ahead, and I'll have him start partaking in his new hobby that I have given him, as you can see over there. So now we wait until just about everyone has gone to sleep. Nope, I want this. And then I will expend 25 mana so that he will begin his work. And meanwhile, apparently there is some fighting going on over here. Ah yes, I see the ratmen are abducting a chicken. Very fun, very fun. And then we have Imranorin over here, just doing some work. And if we look over this eye, we can see that due to the eye's influence, we are able to obtain blackmail material. So now we have evidence that Imranorin committed assault. And these people saw him carrying this person away, but they have no idea for what reason this may be, so they have not actually done anything in response to this, which works just fine for me. It appears Miscellaneous is accusing Imranorin of murder, which appears to be because Imranorin didn't actually finish the job. He appears to have forgotten that he needed to actually go through with it before he went to sleep. So I'm probably going to just take care of that for him. But don't worry, everything is fine. While I'm at it, I think I'll just take that spider and put them up here as well. Then I will replace my stock of abominations, which are currently assaulting the town. So far between the first person and the attack on the village, we seem to be down 2 villagers. And oddly enough, they appear to have actually restrained one of the abominations, which is admittedly an odd thing to have done. But I'll just toss some healing towards that abomination just to help it in case. And unfortunately, it appears that Imranorin was actually eliminated by my abominations, which is unfortunate because that means I no longer have that access point to continue my plans. Which means that I may have shot myself in the foot a bit with my attempt to not win again via just a plague of monsters and demons, but oh well. Oh well. I'm just gonna toss these here because that'll be fun. And then, just in case, I'm going to set up both of my defensive demons over here. Just in case someone comes snooping in the wrong direction. Oh no, Harkson was killed by an abomination. How sad. Oh no, it's awful. Look at that. Oh no, oh no. Oh, very dear. It looks like someone's magic malfunctioned and now they're just having it out. And then there's just rats everywhere also. They're just consuming so much food and just trying to cause problems. Well, that rat's probably gonna die. Now I'm just gonna switch the spiders, because the spiders are fun. Because what I'm going to do is I want to place all 3 of them in here, and over time they're going to make more spiders, and then over time they'll make more spiders, and so on and so forth. And then by the time hopefully someone comes in here, they'll not find 3 spiders, but perhaps 6 or 9 or 12 or maybe even more. Who knows? Now, it appears that 2 of my abominations now have been captured, which really does not reflect well on the abominations. You think that that wouldn't happen. And then, apparently a rat man starved to death somewhere? Don't know where, though. Oh well. But for now, that's fine. I'm just going to have some fun here. Just trip up some people. Literally. And then just call down a bit of the Wrath of Zeus. And then, while we're at it, let me try and figure out, do they have some sort of, like, farm around here? Why they do, in fact. Oh no, there is no longer a farm there. That was very quick, as to be expected of locusts. But we're not done yet. I'm just going to throw them over here and see if they can find more food in this direction. And hopefully get some damage going that way as well. And then I'm just going to continue messing with these people as much as possible. Very lovely. And then over here, you'll notice that the elves actually attempted to enter this tower where there were some worms. And the worms seem to have done a little bit of work on their own. So I appreciate their sacrifice. Then, oh, that was the lesser demon. That's sad. Oh well. You know what time it is. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And then I'll play Rat for good measure, just in case. Fortunately, the rat does not seem to have actually affected anything there. Unfortunate. But now these fools have made a mistake. Oh, he's dead, I see. Alakazam! And then just to further conflate things, add a little snare trap there. That should be fun in a minute. I don't know how this happened. I don't have any spells that can cause this. Fortunately, I do think I have something that can detonate it, though. No, I cannot. Apparently, lightning doesn't set things on fire, which doesn't seem quite right, if I'm honest, but oh well. I'll just leave that as that for now. I appear to be getting play points, but I don't know how that's happening. I really wish I knew. How are the spiders doing, by the way? Are my spiders having a fun time? Doesn't look like there's any more of them at the moment. It's just the 3 I started with, but they're all still alive. So that investment is going well. And now, we continue the onslaught. And it seems that every time I do this, the villagers end up managing to capture another one. Which is somewhat annoying, because again, doesn't feel like abominations should be getting captured, but I guess they just don't make them like they used to. Not that I know what they used to be like. I don't really have much experience with how abominations work. Although I guess also them being captured is theoretically better than them dying. I don't know. All I know is there's a lot of graves here. There's a lot of graves here. And also, that table is contaminated. I don't think we're ever going to actually see that come to fruition. Now I'm just gonna shock you people. Get some... Oh, you died from that. That's sad. I'll just zap you instead. I'm just gonna send in some locusts, have some fun. And then, oh, it appears that the spiders have multiplied at this point. Lovely. Gonna drop a plate right here. And let's go check on the spiders. Oh, look at the cute little things. Aren't they adorable? I actually don't like spiders, but that's fine. These ones aren't anywhere near me, so I'm completely fine with these spiders. But, yeah, it would not be fun if those were actually here. Would not enjoy that. Did the other plague rat manage to get any work in before they died? Oh, there's one that's still alive? Oh, they've been restrained. Great. So you're not going to actually do anything then. Lovely. Lovely. Let's see, can I... Why, yes. Yes, I can. Well, this has now become a war of attrition. Fortunately, I think it is in fact a war that I will end up winning. Let's see, and then we're gonna drop that there. Drop that. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid of the locusts. You know, really, you'd think at this point, after like the third wave of abominations, they'd figure out that something was up, but no. No, they just keep defending themselves as their numbers slowly trickle down. Well, I say slowly trickle, but they just lost 3 people and they're about to lose the last one. Especially if I do this. Yep. Silly elves. And with that, I think I will call the stream a little much earlier than the previous ones, but I feel that although I do enjoy this game, it is perhaps not the best game, at least for me, to demonstrate to others. I may come back to this, but for now, I think that I will call it here. So I thank you for coming to watch. My name is Krail Sheffelgunathorpius Sharp, or Chef if you prefer, and I will see you next time.